I've got some things to say, but I just kind of don't know what it is. What I actually want to know is he trying to cover up for the stupid mistakes his police officers made. Not one officer, mind you, but 4 or 5, which reflects on the whole police force. Some of the officers that have talked to me don't want to carry the burden for some of this happenings. They want this aired out too. Like for instance, Terry Hagan went around telling his friends and everybody that they was having a little fun with this Mexican. They didn't mean to hurt him. They thought he was nobody. He was a bum. He didn't know he had a family. Whether he was a bum or wasn't a bum, he's a human being. He's supposed to be treated like a human being.
I feel like we need to get more involved, and we need to do things that need to be done right now, before people come to the boiling point. Before
what kind of things?
Well,
I mean, one or two.
The main thing I believe is education. I feel that with education you can reach and you can erase discrimination. You can mix people together if you start mixing them when they're young. Of course, there's always a human element, the parents that are involved. A lot of times, even though they're in school, parents teach them, well, you know, so-and-so, he's black or he's brown, he's no better than you. I've got a little girl that's in school right now, and she's in the 1st grade, and she had an incident happen to her. She had this little white boy that's pretty sweet to her, and he went home, told his mother one day that, you know, he liked Debbie, you know, and that's my little girl, and his mother says, well, is Debbie white? And he says, no, she's Mexican. And she says, well, she tells the little boy, well, you can't fall in love, you can't marry a Mexican, you have to marry a white person. So he comes back to school and tells Debbie, I'm afraid that I can't marry you because you're brown and I'm white. And this was the truth, you know. My little girl came home really bothered by it because a lot of people think that it doesn't exist anymore.
How do you remember the language problem and so forth when you were in school?
How do I remember?
Was it a problem?
Yes, it was a problem because I knew Spanish and I didn't know too much English. And then when I wanted to talk English with some of the children that were in school, I couldn't say some of the words, I couldn't talk, and they'd laugh about me.
How did you study?
I didn't have my mother didn't know how to read or nothing, but the teacher helped me. She helped me a good bit. And this teacher, I can remember her very well. She was a sweet teacher, and she really did take effort to get me to learn.
When you were young, your family worked in the field,
yes,
in the agriculture, migrant workers. There's still a lot of Mexican American families who earn their living this way.
Yeah, they follow their crops.
What particular problem did that pose for you as a trying to get an education? Do you?
Well, it was very hard because we would start, like I said, we would live here in April, Fort Worth, and we wouldn't come back until November. So by that time, the children had a semester ahead of us, and you kept getting further behind each year. So finally, you got too big for you. The kids that were small, and you were bigger, and they knew more about it. So you just get discouraged and quit.